They called him slow. They called him stupid. One of his rivals gave him a nickname meant to humiliate, the ass. He heard it, he accepted it, and then he kept going. Cleanthes of Assos spent his life being underestimated. He worked through the night carrying water just to afford studying during the day. He wrote his philosophy on oyster shells and ox shoulder blades because he couldn't afford writing materials. He spent 19 years in the shadow of his teacher before anyone believed he had something worth saying. He became the second head of the Stoic school. He led it for 32 years. And when the time came to die, he chose the moment himself, because that's what it looks like when a man lives in complete alignment with his philosophy. Not for a day, not when it's comfortable, for 100 years. Cleanthes was born around 330 BC in Assos, a coastal city in what is now northwestern Turkey. Before he was a philosopher, he was a boxer, built for endurance, the kind of fighter who absorbed punishment, kept moving, and outlasted opponents simply by refusing to stop. He would carry that quality with him for the rest of his life. At some point he came to Athens, arrived with almost nothing, 4 drachmas, barely enough to eat. He found Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, and decided, this is what I want. But wanting it and affording it were 2 different things. So by day he studied. He sat at Zeno's feet and absorbed every word. By night, he became a water carrier, hauling water through the dark streets of Athens so he could buy the day. His peers laughed. They called him the ass, said he had a strong back and a weak mind. Zeno defended him. He told the critics, the ox who works slowly will one day outplow every faster animal. The student who takes longest to understand something understands it deepest. 19 years. Cleanthes studied under Zeno for 19 years. When Zeno died, the school needed a new leader. They chose Cleanthes, the water carrier, the man everyone had written off. He led the Stoic school for 32 years, wrote over 50 works, and produced the hymn to Zeus, one of the only complete Stoic texts to survive 2,000 years. When a gum disease finally gave him reason to fast, he healed, then chose to keep fasting. Having already walked so far down the road toward death, he saw no reason to turn back. He died on his own terms, at nearly 100 years old. The ass outlasted all of them. So what did Cleanthes actually teach? He took Zeno's framework and deepened one specific pillar, the relationship between the human soul and the logos, the divine reason that governs all things. For Cleanthes, the universe was not cold or mechanical. It was alive, rational, governed by an intelligence he called Zeus, and every human being was a fragment of that intelligence, a piece of the divine walking around in a mortal body. This is why he wrote a hymn, not as poetry, as philosophy. In the hymn to Zeus, he wrote that nothing happens in the world without the logos, not the storm, not the fire, not the loss, not the night of carrying water through the dark when everyone else is sleeping. All of it is the logos working. And the Stoic task, Cleanthes' task, is to align yourself with it. Not to fight what comes, not to rage against the shape of your life, but to find the logos in it. To ask, what is this building in me? What is this hardship teaching? He said the only people who truly suffer are those who resist, who believe the universe owes them something different from what it gave them. The man who moves with the cosmos, who accepts difficulty as instruction rather than punishment, that man is free. Not free from hardship, free through it. Cleanthes carried water every night for years, was laughed at, written off, and never once believed the story his circumstances seemed to be telling about him. Because he understood something most people never fully grasp. Your circumstances are not your identity. The logos gives you a role. Your task is to play it with everything you have. He was given the role of the slow student, the manual laborer, the underestimated outsider. He played it completely and became the second father of Stoicism. Here is what Cleanthes is telling you, right now, today. You might be the person in the room no one is betting on, the one who takes longer, who seems to be moving slower than everyone around them, doing the quiet, unglamorous work, while others get the recognition, the one they call the ass. Cleanthes says, good. The world overlooks you. The algorithm overlooks you. The people in the room overlook you. Keep carrying the water, because here is what they don't understand, what the people laughing at you have never understood. Consistency is not a talent, it is a choice. And it compounds. Every night, Cleanthes hauled water through Athens. He was making a deposit no one could see. Every day he sat with one idea for hours, while others raced ahead. He was building a foundation they were skipping. They were building faster, he was building deeper. And when the storm came, when Zeno was gone and the school needed something to stand on, it stood on Cleanthes. Not the brilliant ones, not the fast ones, not the ones who mocked him, the one who showed up every single day. This is your reminder. You are not behind. You are building. There is a difference. The person becoming through the slow, invisible work you are doing right now, that person will not crack when the pressure comes, because you have already been under pressure. You have already carried weight in the dark. You have already been underestimated and kept moving anyway. You will not rise to the occasion. You will fall to the level of your preparation. So prepare. They called him the ass. He answered to it. And then he carried Stoicism on his back for 32 years. 100 years of life, lived in complete alignment, without shortcuts, without recognition, without bitterness at the pace of it all. Cleanthes didn't become great because he was the fastest. He became great because he was the most consistent. Because when everyone else was sleeping, he was carrying water. When everyone else was laughing, he was writing on oyster shells. When everyone else moved on, he stayed. The logos does not reward speed. It rewards alignment. It rewards the person who shows up in the dark, who does the work no one applauds, who refuses, day after day, year after year, to stop. You already know who that person is. The only question is whether you're willing to be the ass, the one they underestimate, the one they overlook, the one who carries the weight in silence, until the day they have no choice but to hand you the school. If this video found you at the right moment, if Cleanthes said something tonight that you needed to hear, go to the comments right now and write one thing: I will not break. That is not a message to me. That is a promise to yourself. And tell this family, which Stoic should wear the next mask? Drop the name below. The philosopher with the most power behind their name is the one we cover next. If you're new here, this is what we do. Every week, one philosopher, one story, one lesson sharp enough to cut through everything the world throws at you. Subscribe, turn on notifications. Don't miss what's coming. Until next time, wear the mask.